But I hope you all survived the weekend and are still here and holding on. What a frustrating weekend. I had a podcast on Saturday with Blue and Apu Network. Thought it was a really good podcast. It was good and very reflective. And, just, brutal liquidations, $19 billion. Nothing compared to the FTX blow up, which is about 1.6 billion. So we had to survive through that. But we've been building and we just continue to keep heads down, right? I don't think there's any other option because if you look at the markets, just the institutions have no cojones. I mean, that's all I can say in a way. It's just like we in the crypto land are building and scaling, and I think we just need to be careful, and we constantly get reminded that don't leverage too extreme. And no matter how non-extreme you were leveraged, you really ran the risk of being liquidated. Even in second tier. Big altcoins, right? Chainlink or Sui or Atom. Atom went down to 1 cent. These are top 50 coins. Sui, I think, was down at 6 cents. XRP was all the way down at something rather. Huge drops, and we survived. You're still here. You're still listening to the show. You're still fanatical about truth and the Truth Network. So I'm glad you're still here. Hope you're still listening in and staying active and engaged. Hi, I'm Stefan Rust. I'm the founder of Truth Network by Truflation, and we are bringing you index.fun as one of the products that sit on top of Truth Network. And I'm going to highlight today, talk about a bit about Truth Network and some of the latest progresses that we've made. How you can think of Truth Network, and then also go into some of what's happening out there in terms of AI, in terms of how that is important for internet capital markets. And when we say internet capital markets, we don't mean internet capital markets taking capital markets and putting them on chain. No. 99999. What we mean is actually bringing internet bottom up cultural products to market. And these are new financial instruments that we are trying to create and enable and allow you to trade on those. Our vision and our goal has always been and always will be, if you can measure it, we will make it tradable. You can trade it. So if you can measure it, you can trade it. Simple as that. That's what we're trying to bring you. If you can measure it, you can trade it. Thanks to the Truth Network and all the data that is available on the Truth Network. That's what we try to bring to you, and that's how we roll right now. So I think we've got all the audio, so it should be working. Everything's working. No comments, no feedback. Everything seems to all good with audio and video, perfect across all the platforms. Again, hi. And I think I'm going to start off with the big bang, right? Like, we got to hit it hard. I come up with a bit of a slow start with the depressing Tuesday. But at Truth Network and at Truflation, we're super excited. Why are we super excited? I'm always super excited. This is the most exciting time to be alive, except the last couple of days in crypto, which has been really brutal. Even, all of us, have suffered through this, but we're coming out of this stronger and better and smarter. We learn each time around these. And some were really unfortunate, but you can come back. And this is the opportunity crypto provides. It gives everybody an opportunity. It's permissionless. Everybody can participate. Just stick to a strategy and follow that strategy, and that will work for you. We try to educate a strategy. We try to look at the macroeconomic view. We take more longer positions. We're not instant. We're not for short-term instant gratification, trading, analysis, technical analysis. We don't do much of that. We analyze the macroeconomic situations. We work to the clock of the global economy. And we take into account a lot of things. That's what we do at Truflation. And that's why we make all of this data available to any of you building any kind of application on the Truth Network. One such application is index.fun, a prediction market that allows anything that can be measured tradable. So that's sort of what we're doing, and that's what we're working on. But we're really proud and really happy to bring to you Bloomberg, right? So Truflation is now on Bloomberg. Look at that, right? Truflation now on Bloomberg. Yeah, finally, it took us a long time to get the credibility, to build the trust. And we've spent the last 3 years creating trust and working with you tenaciously to build that trust and follow that trust 24/7, 365, not like government shutdowns, not once a month reporting, not dropping in the reporting instruments and the volume of data that we're aggregating in order to bring you an accurate report, not miscalculating, not losing 1 million job reports, 1 million jobs in a year at 9 months later, after in the new year. Things like that. So that's what we're about, right? Immutable, accessible to all of you, anytime, anywhere, and soon on a mobile phone, and soon tradable. I mean, it's already tradable on a prediction market on index.fund. Go check it out. You get a link to go through to index.fund. But either way, now we are on mainstream, all of the traders, and we have 200,000 traders every single month, analysts, traders, speculators, researchers coming to truflation.com and viewing what is the Truflation metric. Where is Truflation? 45 days ahead of everybody else. We all know that. And now those same traders are getting it on their Bloomberg terminal with a hot link over and across to truflation.com, and ultimately subscribing to that data feed so that they can leverage all the underlying data sets and integrate that into their calculations and their own assumptions so that they can either build their own model or leverage Truflation and benchmark their models against the Truflation model, which has acquired market trust, market respect, and market recognition. And all we need to do is now scale that trust, scale that recognition, retain the trust, and continue to be accurate, to be diligent. And if you were all on the webinar today, Oliver gave a webinar on Truflation and what our forecast is for the BLS today, when they were supposed to report it tomorrow. But now, no, 99999, nicht möglich, not possible. We cannot report now. We will report on October 24th. Why are they reporting? Despite the shutdown, they have to report because of social security requirements so that the social security payments get adjusted according to the Bureau of Lagging Statistics information. And so I don't even know why we bother and why they don't just use Truflation as the source of truth. And if they were accurate about that, they would have a real-time daily update and not need to wait every month, once a month, to aggregate 15 days later what that number looks like. Instead, update every day. The market can decide how to get it updated. They can use their own metric. They can use our calculations or use the underlying data to then actually go calculate their own interpretation of inflation and ultimately then use their own interpretation to then price out treasury bills. And when they price out US dollar treasuries, the market will find an equilibrium, a balance, a model, a market, and that will then trade for 6 months, 1 year, 3 months, 10-year bonds, 30-year bonds. All of those will then be priced based on the individual calculations on a buy and supply side order, right? Book that can be managed. But neither here nor there, super excited to be on Bloomberg. Truflation is on Bloomberg. And we got more news coming very soon, so stay tuned. We were super excited. We've got some other platforms that we're working with. And yeah, we are on a trajectory that finally the market has turned. Something's changed. I mean, not just the shutdown coming and the government not being able to report. Thank God the Truth Network, it's up and running all the time, 24/7, maintained by multiple validators around the world that is hosting, maintaining not only the data, but also the consensus algorithm, providing attestation and verification for accurate data, tamper-resistant, tamper-proof data sets. And so that's what the Truth Network does with Truflation's economic data sets. And so that's really exciting. Check it out. I don't know if you have a Bloomberg terminal, please post. How many of you have a Bloomberg terminal? Raise your hands. Yeah, we're super excited to be on Bloomberg. It's amazing. Congrats on Bloomberg. Thank you, Keta. Spot is greater than leverage. Yep, that's true. Thank you, Keta. Yeah, look, how many of you have used Bloomberg? Can you see us on there? Check it out. Give us your comments. We're going to be adding more and more content onto Bloomberg, and we'll be working with them to add new feeds, not just the Truflation feed. We also have the PCE feed, live, real time, updated every single day. Let's check that out. Next, coming really soon, we've got a labor index, highly reputable Truflation, bringing you labor index. What's that going to look like? How is that going to pay out? Is it going to be immutable? Is it going to be more accurate? Is it using more reliable data sets? Instead of waiting a year later, not being able to calculate 1 million jobs, we feel there is a significant improvement that can be done in the labor markets. We've been talking to some of the biggest employment houses out there, employment trackers, as a big set of inflation. And now, think about it. All three elements are tracked by Truflation that are significant inputs into the FOMC. The FOMC is the board that decides on interest rates. So today, Truflation provides you inflation numbers, labor statistics, as well as PCE. Those are the three core data sets that are used by the FOMC, which decides, the 7 board members that sit together and decide on inflation. Sorry, not on inflation, on interest rates. And we now have accurate, real-time data sets for that. How do you make investment decisions around that? What are your investment decisions around that? Of really the big news that we want to share. Please copy this image, share this out with your folks, and rate this. Get this already 113 likes. Come on, you guys can do more. Let's get more of that. Come on, it's up to you to help grow this platform. You know, how many likes do we have? 9, 12. When was this posted? It was posted 2:30 p.m. I don't know, what time zone is that? That was posted like 4 hours ago. Already 15,000 views. Let's see more. Come on, rate this thing, get it out there. I will share that link too as well. But yeah, that was really exciting. And that's really the biggest news, right? I think the biggest for Truflation, and that's really what I wanted to share with you as well. We've also, got some things coming up this week. We are now some 13 days into, the shutdown. What's happening? Whereas, Truflation right now is still continuing to report accurately 2.24% inflation. And we're now in day 13, right? The government's shut down. I think Oliver's calculated it some 17 times since 1970. The average is about 8 days shut down. The longest is 35 days. How long do you think we'll shut down for? What's your estimate? We think it's going to go longer than a lot of people think. And we're going to see a lot of reduction. I think a lot of the planning and insights gained from Doge are going to be impacted in now reductions in force taking place in the government budget refinements that are taking place. Right now, they're trying to agree on a budget. Here is the window to agree on the budget. What is the negotiations? What's happening behind the scenes? And what sort of job cuts will be cut alone? We just saw already the IRS is going to cut 34,000 workers, right? Wow. Okay. That's already a significant cut. Super interesting. Yeah. I'm sure a lot of us are going to be happy now that we don't have the IRS, the Inland Revenue Services. I think what we now have is the ERS, isn't it called? External Revenue Services or something like that, where it's actually the import of goods that is supposed to replace a lot of the Inland Revenue Services tax income or revenue from tax. And so we're looking at, what was the number? I think it was like a $300 billion ticket annualized revenue stream from import duties and import tariffs. So let's see if that stands, especially with the negotiations. Yeah, what has already been missed? You can see here, man, so much not being reported because of this government shutdown. You know, the weekly jobless claims, the September employment report, the international trade of goods and services, weekly jobless claims, again, the second week running, monthly wholesale trade, you know, and as I mentioned, we're coming and we're going to report to you the inflation, the labor statistics, and we'll share with you in the next show. I'll share with you how we're going to calculate that and how these jobless claims are an important aspect to that, but not only. And what sources of data are we going to be using to calculate it better than you can see from the current statistics that you're getting from the Bureau of Labor or the Bureau of Lagging Statistics. You know, we see the BLS. We know that's not going to be reported. That's already been pushed to the 24th. So here we go. We've got a date, you know, it's supposed to be tomorrow. And I'll give you what we anticipate the number to be if you stay tuned and get everybody to listen. Come on, I need more of you listening in, paying attention. This is so timely for the Truflation. And if you're a truth holder and you're not advocating that we're now on Bloomberg, that we're going to be doing a labor index, and that we have already calculated real time the inflation for the US market, that you do not need the Bureau of Lagging Statistics anymore. In fact, they should be lying to statistics because they don't report, or they misled the whole economy with 1 million jobs that whoosh, just disappeared. Anyway, you tell me what we should be doing, but I do believe that this is the time for like, smash, subscribe, follow Truflation, sign up to our newsletter. That's what you need to do, because this is what's going to give you alpha. And we do give you alpha. If you're in and a subscriber, we're dropping and we're coming up with a new dashboard. Stay tuned, sign up, and just get the free subscription. And if you like, we'll have something really attractive for you that will be a new proposal and a new proposition that allows anybody to get on and give you even better alpha and insights in terms of how the economy is running. You need to learn. We're all about educating. We need to stay up to speed. We need to use the tools. We need to leverage the data in order to feed our AI agents that are going to build out solutions and help us get smarter, better, and more productive. Anyway, we have the PPI numbers and the retail sales. Oh man, they're going to not be reported either. We have retail sales. We will give you PPI numbers. We have the GDP advance estimate. Remember, GDP is measured over 3 quarters, and then they go back and tell you what the GDP is. So is that something that Truflation should do? You tell us, should we be reporting the GDP as well? We have a number of new companies created. We have the businesses. We have the ISM report. We have even the number of people traveling around airports and the actual travel volume out there. Despite the shutdown, air traffic controllers are still working hard. They're working harder than ever, because the volume of traffic of people traveling and flying across the nation is greater than ever before. And finally, you know, we can track that. And some people in the government are working really hard. They are reliable. We need to trust on them, because we put our lives at stake when we get into an airplane and travel. And more of us are traveling, yet the air traffic controllers are still going to work and making sure our airs are safe. So thank you to them, and thank you for their due diligence and their continued support to keep the air safe and us being able to connect with each other, which is an important aspect of growth, the communication and the transportation, to be able to facilitate meetings, to do trade, etc. So those are important aspects. And then ultimately the PCE. Again, you know, Truflation tracks the PCE. I told you right earlier on that we track the PCE in real time. So every day, go check it out on Truflation. Another metric. The government will not be able to report to you at the end of the month, but Truflation does. And by the way, if you're on Chainlink, you will get it through data link into your outlets as well. So not only, I think maybe I spoke too soon. I shouldn't say that. I don't know. You heard it here first. Sorry about that. I gotta move on quickly. We didn't hear that. I stole somebody's thunder. But anyway, yeah, check it out. Here, what do we have? We have a special promotion here. Free members access for real-time headline inflation. Premium subscribers unlock full category, subcategory detail, millions. Use code GOV20 for 20% off. There you go. Guys, subscribe. We're really trying to make this affordable to you and for you. You can see all of these metrics live. Just go to truflation.com. It's supposed to be as intuitive as it is. Let us know if you like it, if you don't like it, if you'd like other things, what other metrics should we be tracking? It's up to you to decide and let us know how we can mobilize the community and the ecosystem to help acquire new types of data forms and new types of data sets. So, we saw everybody shutting down, and it seems like Jerome Powell is still on a trailblazing tour, right? He's still flying around, going around, maybe in his private jet. I don't know if he's got a private jet or his government-funded jet, or he's flying in a normal plane, or maybe, is JP Morgan paying for his flights? I don't know, but he's going to deliver a key speech tomorrow at the NAB. I think this was posted yesterday. Yeah, so today he's speaking, right? So he's speaking, and everybody's going to be looking like a tooth, at every single word that he says. What's he going to be saying? What's he going to be talking about? How's he mentioning this? Is he hawkish? Is he dovish? Let's interpret every single point and move, noise that he makes and how he makes it, right? I think that's everything that's coming out. What's his interpretation on imports? You've heard my opinion. We differ within Truflation, so we have a lot of debate within the teams and across the organization. Some people think the tariffs have a lagging effect, so we'll see it further down the road. I personally don't think that it is a big issue. I think it's just a nothing burger, but that's me. But the data is still showing nothing burger. But we're possibly doing a real detailed study on that with an institution in terms of trying to identify what that means to the economy. How does the shutdown impacting the economic data, right? I mean, we know that's why we created Truflation. There's no shutdown. All the node operators are keeping it up. Very similar to like money, like Solana, like Bitcoin, like Ethereum. All of these chains need to be up and running because everybody wants to be trading. Everybody wants their money. Everybody needs to do payments. That needs to be up and running. And our view is very much that what crypto has done to currencies and the financial services industry, Truth Network is doing to the data industry. And so that's what we've got to bring out. We've got to make sure it's running 24/7. It's super transparent. It's permissionless for everybody to participate in, and anybody can build on the top of that. That's what we're focused on, and that's what we're trying to build. And so investors are split between expecting rate cuts for longer and higher for longer stands. So let's see, will rates go up or down? What have you bet? Where's your position on Poly Market, right? We did a study and test the other day that if you put in $1,000, you get 3x. If you put in $10,000, you only get in 0.08x. So you actually drop in return associated with that's the inflation calculation though. So we looked at that. So I thought that was pretty interesting way to look at things. But yeah, I think the big news for us right now is that we have seen and experienced we've got a lot of things coming out and we're live, right? I think one of the things that I want to share with you is quickly run you through Oliver's presentation, but I can see we're already how many minutes in? We're in 24 minutes in, so I've already gone over my time slot. Sorry about that. But one thing I do want to share with you, as you know, we have been working on index.fun. You can see that here. Go check it out. It's live on Sonic right now, but we've got a huge upgrade coming in the next 2 weeks. We're going through a final audit. The order book will be live. So the trading and price making and settlement will all be up to you to drive and participate in. We'll be making this available to everybody who can trade on it. And we will be extending into the Sonic community and beyond. So stay tuned to that. But I think the interesting element to us is all of this is going to be verified and have attestation by the Truth Network, right? So verified data streams and verified index calculations from the Truth Network. So you'll be able to see all of the indexes up here in the Truth Scan. So check this out. This is the Truth Scan. Check it out. Go have a look, and you can then identify here deadlift. Let's see, where do we have the deadlift? We have the deadlift from index.fun. You can see here. You can see all of it live here. What's the pricing number? What's the constituents? How's it settled up? Meta platforms, who's the data provider for the information? What's the weighting associated with that? What's the index? You can see all of that here, right? But the interesting element that you can do with this here is soon, we now have built out an AI toolkit for the Truth Network. The Truth Scan is the block explorer for the Truth Network. Very similar to Etherscan or SolScan for Solana, Etherscan for Ethereum. Or the block explorer for the Bitcoin, you now have a Truth Scan, a block explorer for the Truth Network. All of that data is up on the Truth Network. Every node operator will have an MCP server embedded in that. What does that mean? An MCP server allows you now to run all of the data that's on the Truth Network into an LLM. So you can actually use all of this data and run regression analysis across all the indexes to identify correlating products or investment opportunities across all these data sets and all these indexes, allowing you to then identify rain with coffee prices, identify pizza index with defense index, identify GDP decline, cosmetics up, increase index. So all of those regression analysis and correlations, you will be able to leverage the MCP solution. And by the way, this is all live. You can go and do it today. If you're a developer, go start. And what's happening, once you've built these correlations, they will then become tradable. We will make them tradable for you. And not only that, you can then build out using virtuals. We are working to build out an agent commerce protocol. You can actually build your own AI agent to trade those, to drive market volume, to create this new marketplace on an actual exchange. That is what we're trying to provide and enable you to be able to do and work with. So that is the power of these tools available thanks to the SQL-centric blockchain that is the Truth Network. You can trade those now and build your own cookies. If you want to see how and get a blow-by-blow description on how to work that, Cookies has done an amazing job in highlighting that, right? Jingling Cookies. Rise of prediction market agents. So this is for prediction markets. And index.fun is a prediction market. So you will be able to do this on prediction markets. Not only prediction markets, a perpetual exchange is equally a prediction market. You are taking long positions or short positions. They may be infinite. You are borrowing against those positions. Those are prediction capabilities that you are deploying in long or short positions, and you are leveraging up against that. So you can actually build agents to help you trade in those marketplaces. And as they're permissionless, you will be able to then allow the agents to access it. So here you go. They have a blow-by-blow description on how you can go ahead and use the different tools to do that. Comments and more details there. And we will share with you links to white papers on how to be able to work with this, how to create different combative or competing agents as you go down this path. But hope you enjoyed that. That's something to pay attention to. And we're glad to bring that to you. Sign up to Truflation, follow us. And if you're interested in building your own agents and leveraging the data on there, go to Truth Network, check out the MCP server, download a node, install it, run it, and then run the data through the MCP server into an LLM, and then figure out where there are correlations and do your own regression analysis in how that works. And by the way, all of those will be tradable on index.fund. So really exciting to see this moving and evolving from where we first started and actually getting to a place where you can now trade all these funky products, anywhere from Rolex watches to the Pelosi index to the deadlift index to the BNB index as well. Not to mention, of course, trade Truflation. Hope you enjoyed this. A bit longer than the 20 minutes. I've been a bit behind. I started a bit later. Sorry, I had a Wi-Fi problem, but now fix that. And have a great day. See you again Thursday, same time, 6 p.m. here live. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Bye for now.